feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride away.
Okay. Here we go. Yo, why Grand start this call and title it UMG? Yo, what's good? Wait, I can't hear you. Am I tripping?
You can't hear me?
Oh, now I can. Hold
Yeah, you
on.
can hear me. What's good, man?
I'm chilling. Hold on, let me. I'm gonna put both of us on here. All right, here we go.
Streaming late. You're streaming late these days, eh?
Shit. I got to get back on a better schedule, man, because like last night I was on till like 4. I'm trying, like,
I know.
I'm trying to be respectful of people's time too. So, like, you know, I'm trying to fix my schedule without missing a day, because sometimes that's what happens, you know. Let's see. Bingo.
Yeah. I get it, man. I'm just trying to get in.
Yeah. Anyway, yo, then I was watching a video. Listen, and by the way, here's the thing too. I do want to tell people, What's the Dirt is my guy. We're not also going to agree on everything, and this is where we could have like some critical okay, I agree with that, but this one I'm not too sure about. And I think this is how you just be a fair content creator. Now, obviously, you're going to have some bad actors out there who, like, they're just diametrically opposed to everything, or they're just going to be like, this guy's a liar, he's whatever. So, first question is, how have you been doing? I've seen that the K-Bots have taken aim at you. They have turned you into, they probably think you're now a Drake puppet. I seen them start doing a whole thing with the Happy Dad thing. They're like, yo, by the way, my Happy Dad shit right here. You know what they said? They said Drake founded Happy Dad. They said Drake founded Happy Dad to pay us. What do you say?
It's crazy what they spin, bro. I just made the whole connection. It's like, bro, all it takes is a Google search, bro. One little Google search, and you could see that Drake is not affiliated with Happy Dad. He doesn't have stake in it. He doesn't have ownership in it. It's just because he took a picture with Kyle with like a Happy Dad jersey, and they're both. But yeah, they're on my ass, bro. They're definitely on my ass, but I've been going through that for a year now, bro. That's what it's been, right? That's the way it's been. So anyone who's even a little,
like the moment things, because so when I first found out about you, you're doing these like really dope breakdowns, which by the way, I think one of the W's that came out of this rap battle was having people really look beyond just surface level shit and connect dots. And we get to find out, and no pun intended, like people like Kendrick was always leaving a trail of breadcrumbs, but even Drake, they were always alluding to things that, again, it would miss you on first listen. And then if you really connected, you're like, oh, this guy has been touching on this issue for a long time. You did a great job doing that. I think, maybe other people did it, but you obviously were the leader among that. But you were doing it for both artists. At a point, it felt like people were like, yo, this nigga's biased as shit now. Like, or they just started attacking you. What happened and when it happened?
a lot of shit happened in between that point and this point, right? It got to the point where if I was covering Kendrick, like, basically they twisted a lot of shit that I would say, and they started calling me racist, and they started calling me a vulture, and like, at a certain point, like, it was very clear that the Kendrick fans absolutely hated me. I've always been a Drake fan. I'm from Canada. I'm riding out for Drake anyway.
Hey, I remember one breakdown you did, and I think it was the Kendrick thing, and they were like, this is like our guy, like he's showing how smart Kendrick is. Now, here's the thing. You had to do a breakdown for Drake. And as soon as you're like, nah, Drake shit is deep in layer 2, they were like, what? Yo, get this fucking fraud out of here.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened, bro. And they twisted a lot of my shit too, right? Yeah. And no, you're right. They completely flipped when it came to that point. And then I had 2 records left to do because at Family Matters, I stopped. I was like, okay, I got all that backlash. I was like, you know what? I'm done breaking any. I'm not even going to do Kendrick shit. In hindsight, I feel like I should have did it. I feel like if I could go back in time, I would have did it. I think that was a mistake.
Well, wait, first of all, I think you had gotten backlash because I think you had said something about, I forgot what it was. These little bitch ass niggas, like, first of all, you had a lot of people jealous of you. That's the thing. I seen a lot of YouTubers who they've been moving around. I call them I call them the 10,000 club. Like they drop 4,000 videos and each of them get like 12,000 views, and you know what I mean? And they're always like, why am I not the guy getting hundreds of thousands? And they see you and your views are going through the roof, and all of a sudden they take that to be like, yo, let me just start hating on this guy. So I think there's a lot of hate. But I forgot what you had said. It was something about like,
well, there's two factors to it, right? So it was me breaking down the Kendrick record, speaking in the favor of Drake, like you said, giving more depth to some of his shit. People didn't like that right off rip. They didn't like me saying bad things about Kendrick. But then me and Justin Hunt had our thing back and forth, right?
Yeah.
And I said some things there, and that's really where it blew the fuck up, right? That's really where it blew up.
I think you say he was talking like a nerd, like Carlton or whatever, or some shit, and then they were mad at you saying you're racist. And then Anthony Fantano came out and he's just saying the hard ER, and they're like, "I ain't racist. That shit normal."
I don't know, bro.
Yo, he's kicking it with the guys that are like, yo, that's making fun of Drake, but whatever, All right, let's kind of, jump up to speed a little bit. The lawsuit. It's the talk of the town. I want to know your personal thoughts about it, and I've seen you really starting to even trying to connect the dots on that. Where are you with everything?
So the first video I ever did about the lawsuit is the one you just watched.
Oh,
I've
really?
never done a video on it before
Okay.
because first off, I always found it pretty boring.
Yeah,
And in the beginning, I was very much against, like, because you know how people, like, I think people are just hating on Drake and it's just Drake hate about the lawsuit, but I feel like it's a lot bigger than that because it really is anti-hip hop, if we're being real. Like, I know he's suing UMG, but without the diss record, the lawsuit wouldn't exist. The lawsuit is about the lyrics at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And everything around it. So when people are getting up in arms about it, I mean, I can't blame them for feeling that way. On the other side of things, I feel like Drake just really wants to clear his name, bro, because Drake content is in my algorithm. So anytime I go on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, wherever, every day I'm seeing thousands of comments calling Drake a pedophile. And thousands every day. This has been going on for over a year. So
Yeah.
I try to put myself in his shoes, bro. I want to fucking clear my name, man. I really will when it comes to that, whether he sued Kendrick, UMG, whatever. So when I think about if what Drake is saying is actually true, if they really did conspire against him, if they really did cook this, if they really tried to bring him down, if they did this all on purpose, I feel like that all deserves to be exposed. And I think a lot of people would support Drake bringing down the industry had it not been tied to a battle. And I think that's what people are struggling with. But I see both sides. I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Game is game. Thank you for the 20. Let me see what you said. Yeah, I don't like the lawsuit at all, man. I think he should just sue Kendrick. And I don't mind him suing the labels, because some people feel like I'm like super pro labels. Like I've always talked shit about labels. And then I would talk shit about them and said they can't go around me, so they need me. So it's not like I'm over here needing to protect them. I don't give two fucks. You know what I mean? But for me, kind of looking at it, it does get super boring when you're like, okay, sue the labels, but we all know who said the shit. The dude lied on you. You're clearly not a pedophile. The guy popularized this idea. Sue him. And I would think very differently about the lawsuit if Kendrick was sued directly. It's already anti-hip-hop.
Yeah,
Yo,
I don't think there's any dispute for that. I don't think there's any dispute for saying that it's like, hip-hop was built on free expression, bro. So I do think it's a slippery slope when you introduce lyrics and you're basically saying that those lyrics cause like punishable harm of some sort, right? To me, that's one side of it. On the other side of things, if this thing goes through, which I know you said you don't think it will, I don't think it will either. But if it did go the test of time, and we're talking about payola and the inner workings of the industry and all this stuff, if all that stuff came out, there probably will be some good that could come from that part.
Nah.
right?
Nah.
No? You know more than me.
Well, the
when it
reason
comes
why
to
I
that
say
shit.
no is that, listen, I keep telling people the music business is a place, right? And again, I know when I'm speaking, some people think I'm really speaking like I'm some UMG show. Like, no, I'm telling you how the music business is built. The idea of a business being constructed around music is the idea that, first of all, to have a hit song is catching lightning in a bottle, is rolling the die, right? It's a very low percentage on every time you put out a record. To build a business that's built on chance, right, is always going to be incredibly risky. And this is why you see it with the contracts. The reason why artists are in trash contracts is because this is a business built on risk. It's not a profit first, or as soon as we're with you, we're in the. A lot of times, if you look at a profit loss sheet for a label, they're in the red for the majority of artists and only in the black for a couple. And the ones that they are in the black for, that's the ones that are paying for the others. So here's the thing. The music industry, no matter what Drake does, and this idea, like, first of all, I'm a streamer, so of course I want to talk about everything. So I don't mind the lawsuit from that perspective. But the idea that one man could kill the recording business is absolutely ludicrous. This is a multi-billion-dollar business that is built on collusion. And I will say that and say that again. It's a reason why UMG owns part of Spotify. It's a reason why they have all these relationships. It's a reason why they make sure that they own that 85% of the generated revenue that comes from catalog, UMG owns, and they only license. They do not sell. They don't even want to sell it. They wouldn't sell Kanye West his own catalog. You know why? Because after they cracked the music game by being able to steal it with MP3 files, this and third, the leverage that the music industry owns is the fact that they own the catalog. They could make Spotify bend to their whim. They could make Apple bend to their whim. And that's their way of, we're going to use our leverage to straighten out the game. Okay? Now, with all that being said, again, even if, all right, let's say there's payola, right? Let's kind of go down. First of all, payola is something that's only going to be punishable due to the government stepping in. They have money and insurance just to pay that shit off. You get what I'm saying? So no matter, even if we found out that they did a bunch of payola for Kendrick, you're not ending the music industry. Even if they did it for Kendrick, I think UMG would get petty at that point. They'd be like, no, we did it for Drake too. If they're going to admit it, they'll just come out with a disclosure and say we did it for both. It doesn't matter. That doesn't end the music. There's nothing that ends the music industry. It's like Live Nation. I'm pretty sure some people thought, well, look at what happened to the Travis Scott thing. Live Nation and festivals are done. You think so? I thought Live Nation would never work with Travis Scott again. Yeah, right. Did you watch that fucking documentary? They're making too much money. They're printing money. They control an entire ecosystem that they own the venues. This is a almost like monopolistic way of an entire sphere of business. When it comes to music, and it's going to be a part of entertainment, you can't get around labels. And until, like, the idea that Drake could take down the labels sounds only legit to an idiot when you realize that UMG owns 80% of Drake's catalog and 80% of Kendrick's catalog, and they'll never give it back, ever. So how the hell are you going to take down the shit that we built when we own you? You're taking yourself down. So the point that people think that they could take the labels down, listen, Michael Jackson couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. Drake can't do it. I think Taylor sometimes have them on their toes, but even Taylor can't do it. This is a multi-billion-dollar business, and yeah.
I think I just saw what you were talking about with Lucien too, right? And I kind of agree with you. I don't think he actually knows. I don't think he really is that privy to all this shit that was going on, if it was going on, right? I really think with him, all they're trying to find is just on the defamation side of it. They're just looking for any piece of info, an email, a text message, anything that proves that he knew about Not Like Us before it was published. And I think that's all they're trying to get him for. Because I don't
you
think
got to twist his hand to get everybody else. If you really want to know the people who, first of all, UMG is pointing their fingers at their own employees, right? If you go to the disclosure that they filed, and they named their own employees. And by the way, they had told Drake before when he did the petition, they said, bro, we're not protecting nobody. Sue Kendrick. Sue that motherfucker. You know what I mean? So again, UMG and the board of directors, their only goal is to protect themselves, right? This is a publicly traded company that is ran by a board of directors, and they're down to point and throw people in their own company under the bus if there's any foul play. They're setting it up now. Lucian is saying, the UMG head is saying, is basically, yo, if there was info that could either help absolve us or help prove your point, these are the niggas that would know. What does that mean? These are the suspects if we were trying to investigate.
Exactly.
Crime. So
exactly, he's just going to wipe his hands of it and say, look, like if this did play out, I think that's what it would be. It'd just be like, this is just a couple executives that went rogue. Like, these guys did the shit, right?
No, of course.
And that's what it would be.
Yeah, of course. So the only thing I push back on is I do believe, I think any good conspiracy theory always gets a lot of people to bite in because now you have something to work off. There is a great conspiracy theory with this. I just don't think it reaches up to where we're saying with Lucian. Now, if it was something where they're trying to do something to Spotify, like on a company to company level, oh yeah, Lucian's in that. Oh, of course. But a rap battle, bro, I've been around. Yo, these people don't realize that these executives we're talking about, they're pushing 40 and 50. They listen to jazz at home. Okay? They have 2.5 kids and a picket fence and one dog. They're not going home listening to King Von. You think they're in their crib like, we gonna be all right? Fuck no. You know who's actually bumping that? It's gonna be the people at Interscope. It's going to be the people that's in the urban division at Republic. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's where we're going to find if anybody did something shady. And also, I've said this publicly before. The reason why also UMG is going to stand on whatever they're going to stand on, any bullshit that was done, Labels has been this for years. They contract third-party companies. So I guarantee you won't find Universal signing a check saying, here is the money for the buy-in. No.
That's the thing, bro. I think if they're looking for Kojo or Josh Kaplan, I think they believe that those guys source the bots or the botting guys. That's where they're trying to get it from, right? So that's what that part is. Yeah, the shit's crazy, bro. I feel my theory is, I think Drake's contract was ending or coming to an end with Republic.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like they were too incentivized to keep him all that happy, bring his stock down a bit. And then on the other side, you had John Janik, who has been really trying to beat these guys for years. And Kendrick's one of his artists, always been one of his artists. And I think he just said, fuck it, we're going at this thing full force. We're really going to put a dent in Drake this time.
Now, here's the thing. The counterpoint to everything, and that's what I'm saying, this is why I hate the era we're in when it comes to discussing this. Because if we're going to have legitimate, intelligent discussions, we can't do it from a place of stand-up. I don't give two fucks about Kendrick, but I do care about music. So oftentimes when I'm arguing, I might make a point that might be on his side, but it's not because of that. It's that I can't lead these type of discussions with the fact that I'm a Drake fan. For example, right? If we're talking about, the entire battle and where Drake's contract was and what the hell was going to happen, he has a reasonable conversation or a reasonable discussion to have, hey, listen, I feel like you guys did some stuff to devalue me. But then there is the other side as well, right? Which is, hey, we are just music publishers. And this is what I'm saying. I don't know why fans are so heavily invested in this, because it's not going to tell us anything. This is like waiting for the Epstein files, and After it, we're like, where's the list? Where's the list, y'all?
You don't think, like, if they found bots, you don't think that would ever be publicly brought out that they found them? Like, do you think that information would actually get out into the public?
It won't be connected to UMG.
No, that's true. Like you said, it'd be a third party, right? They would just say third party. We had no idea.
Let me tell you what's gonna happen. UMG is gonna also say we've also did our own internal review. We worked with Spotify. We conducted our own internal review and audits of our artist streams and songs that did well or whatever. And we were active in trying to fight against bots. Makes no sense that we would be paying for bots. But here's the thing. That's why I keep saying it's the music industry. The record labels they're the same ones that used to purchase records. Back in the day when the majority of sales came from this idea of not UPC scan, but it was records shipped, they would ship 1 million records that you could certify as something platinum. Then they would buy half of them because now Best Buy or whatever is saying, yo, you gave us all these fucking records, nobody buying them. So they would do a huge buyback of some of these records, right? And then, they would do sometimes the return game where they would stagger it over time because those things used to get minused off via SoundScan. So the record labels are always going to finesse. It is part of programming the mind. It is part of programming the mind. I'm just saying, as long as there's a business of music, you will never erase that. They will do it at some way, somehow. It didn't start with Drake. It won't end with Drake, okay? And if Drake wants to, the only thing I look at some of his fans like being like, oh my God, he's exposing something. Tell me that water is wet when you're saying that the labels will do some shiesty shit. I work with labels. All they do is shiesty shit. Okay?
Yeah.
So if that's the thing you were waiting to hear, well, you know it now. Like, so what else are we gonna hear? For me, I think Drake wants his damn money. Get that man his money. I think UMG is gonna pay to save some embarrassment and save some restructuring. Again, you can't destroy them, but you might change how the way they move. Remember, they started to move a little bit different. Yo, Pusha, chill out with that, because this nigga Drake about to file it on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they'll come to, and I don't think Drake is really on some fuck the labels, I'm going independent. That's nothing I don't think his audience is kind of like analyzing. Which part of this says Drake is about to just go independent and say, fuck it, I don't want to deal with the labels no more?
Yeah, it's just a theory, left. Right?
He has one
it's just
album
like
left.
The way I,
and he dropped another album with UMG. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because here's this when people say Drake is going against the industry. And again, Drake's my guy, but we just got to call it space. He tried it. He tried teasing it. You see all them 100 gig songs, Universal was just hours. Yeah, you can't do nothing. Contractually, they got you. And there is no going against, like, Drake could file an emergency. You see, if Drake wanted to really go against the industry like some of his fans think, you file what Meg Thee Stallion did against 1501. You want an emergency injunction that UMG, because you have this theory that they were fucking with you, or they've been trying to suppress your career or do whatever, that they could no longer administrate your album until this case is resolved. Now you're technically a free agent. You could do what you want. But no, Iceman is going to say UMG, brother. And I'm telling you, Drake is he's going to be in the major label system. I can't see another world.
So you don't think there's a possibility of him going with a different major and like dipping from UMG?
Yeah. That's a possibility. The only thing is that what people always have to remember, and okay, so this was the other part, and what was even discussed, and I talked to a bunch of people, high-level people at UMG, they were saying, hey, listen, Drake bugging out a bit. The reason why we're going to say he's bugging out is that, hey, Drake's catalog generates Republic so much revenue a year. We need Drake to be in good standing. We need Drake to keep putting out music. and we would never collude, or we would never be like, do anything to hurt him when his revenue is one of the main drivers of our label. So it's like the idea that, okay, maybe John, all right, let's just go down this rabbit hole. Let's say John Janik was like, yeah, let's get this motherfucker over there, right? Well, Monty Lippman is going to be like, nigga, no, you're not. Because if I'm not going to let you kill off my artist and boast in yours when we're in competition. So I'm going to put up some type of defense, you know? And I think that's where that is at. But I can't see Drake going independent or nothing like that, bro.
It'd be a lot more work for him. But I know he moved OVO Sound over to Sony, right?
Yeah, but Drake don't move like an independent artist. Kendrick's moving like an independent artist, and even then, he's not fully independent because he did this licensing deal. But PG Lang has in-house everything. They have the botters in-house. They have the digital guys in-house. They have the fake news spreaders in-house. They have the A&Rs in-house. They have the I'm serious. I'm not even lying to you. They have the content guys in-house. They've got some producers. Yeah, PG Lang, like, I think Kendrick did want to go independent. And I think what happened is, and this is what I was going to say about, you know, when you say go to a different label. What ends up happening is it's kind of like the NBA. You know how the NBA, and I don't know if you're a sports guy, you could only get the Supermax from the team you were with. Well, here's the thing. Drake isn't at the beginning of his career. He's a seasoned artist. He's pushing 40, right? I mean, he's still in his prime, I would consider. But let's say Sony would say, yo, you know what? We'll give you $500,000. Now we got to think about recoupment. Recoupment on that, not $500 million. Recoupment on that $500 million when they own zero Drake product. When Universal gives Drake $500 million, they use the fact that they own a lot of his albums and they leverage it, that they could recoup faster. Hey, we own a bunch of these. Since we're giving you this money up front, that we could recoup off of your old stuff. Look, I went down the most streamed album this year. Take Care is one of them. Whatever deal that's why artists usually go back to their regular label. This is why do you think it's not really pronounced, because TDE don't really say shit about shit. Kendrick didn't drop music for 5 years. He was getting out of his contract. He did not want to twofold, be in a major label system and also not want to be at TDE. He wanted to build his own, right? After he develops his own thing, PG Lang, the nigga goes back and signs and license through
UMG
Interscope. Why?
Yeah.
Because his catalog already resides there. They're going to give him a more favorable deal. Why? They could leverage his back catalog, right? Because who do you think owns Good Kid, Mad City? It definitely ain't Kendrick, Duckworth, Lamar. It's owned by Universal. So they're going to give him a better deal than he could get anywhere else. So that's why you see people stay at their labels. So why would Sony go out to the tune of $500 million that's only going to just pretty much enrich Universal, who no longer has to market Drake, right? Because that's the thing. When they're marketing these artists now, they're knowing, oh, well, the 10-year anniversary of this is coming up and these albums are going to go up. You're just doing all the legwork for, and by the way, this is why the situation with Youngboy at Capitol, like, the majority of his album is over there Atlantic.
Yeah.
He might go back. You never know.
Yeah, it's I guess you're right. Like, because if Drake dropped an album under Sony, brand new album, the minute he does that, Take Care for UMG's going up. Nothing was like, and Kendrick, same thing, right? When he drops new music, all of his catalog goes into the charts, right? So that's a good point.
So the way how they leverage it is this, right? Like, so Drake has immense amount of leverage at this point, right? But what somebody like Drake would do is like, all right, give me the money up front, but I want, after this deal, I get a quarter of the masters, so 25% of the masters of let's say, Take Care and Nothing Was the Same or something. So what they'll do is give us new product and you'll gain pieces of your old product back. You get what I'm saying? And it'll incentivize the artist to stay. And again, those type of deals that is so cross-collateralized and is so leveraged in multiple different ways. They're leveraging your back catalog to recoup. They're also banking on you possibly wanting more ownership, so they're promising you more in the future, but more that you could possibly get in the past. And they're not going to give you more than half, honestly. That's kind of how, I mean, shit, I know about YoungBoy's situation to a certain extent. He wanted them to do that. They wouldn't do it with him, though. And that was something kind of common, where it's like, hey, after a certain while, you'll be like, yo, give me 3 more albums, and then I'll give you a piece of the last 3 that you dropped before. But, again, us fans, we're looking to hear and find some shit about this battle that I don't know what would make us feel happy. Like, I've kind of said it. Do I think Kendrick botted? Yes. Think Kendrick was botting? Like, again, do I think Kendrick himself knew it was botted? No. I think Kendrick has an amazing team. I think his team knew from the get-go, we need Twitter bots, we need music bots, because we're battling the guy with the algorithm. Okay? And I think they successfully did that. Okay.
They did.
Even if we know that, what does it change? Or is it maybe some type of like, it's like what type of win you would call it? It's like, at least we knew it wasn't real. Like, okay.
Yeah. The only thing, bro, like, I don't think anything could really change the perception for like bots are not going to do it, because people know that bots are being used anyways. I think when it comes to the allegations and shit like that, like what Drake levied in his tracks, like Family Matters, if some of that shit was proven, I think that would be pretty devastating for Kendrick, or at least his reputation.
What do you mean?
I'm not sure how that would happen, though, through the lawsuit.
Give me an example. What do you mean?
Well, Drake said the allegations about Whitney and the allegations with the kid, and now we're seeing this in the lawsuit. So people are starting to think that it could come out that way, but I don't know how UMG would really have details about that.
Now, I do think that Drake is playing chicken with that. I think Drake is daring them to countersue. And here's the thing. I honestly do believe that something happened in that Vegas situation. I do. And I think that Drake, his nose has been so clean in terms of anything associated with pedophilia that he has no problem with people having inquiries about him. But if you countersue, now we get to legitimately ask and request your criminal record, or even anything to prove that that was true. So I think that's why Kendrick has not done anything, even though I think maybe also Kendrick is taking a pro-hip-hop stance. But if Kendrick sued or countersued to say, you lied on me, well, even if Drake didn't have all the details at the point, it better not be true that you had a domestic situation. It better not be. Because now you're going to have to substantiate that, right? So you're going to have to say, well, based on these times or whatever, there was no police involvement, never happened. And here are all, we have to be open enough to give all this information. And I don't think Kendrick want to go down that route. No.
I don't think he could sue, because I believe people seem to believe that there's some truth to that Vegas thing, right? Based on what I've been hearing. So I don't think he would sue for it, because it seems to be possibly true, right?
Yeah, but also here's the thing too. And this is where I be looking at these fans. Man, y'all love mad rappers that beat they bitch, man. Like, this is where y'all little Kendrick Lamar fans is like, yeah, the soapbox shit, it just makes y'all look like hypocrites. But like, I don't want to like throw stray bullets at anybody and bring any other artists into it, but there's a bunch of artists we've either seen on camera or seen allegations of, and of course, there's nobody co-signing those things or standing with them. But over time, unless it's something that you just seen crystal clear on some Chris Brown shit, a lot of people got over it and a lot of people moved on. So I kind of look at it like that. it only makes the Kendrick fans look a little bit hypocritical, but I don't think that kills Kendrick's career, even if it was true. You get what I'm saying?
No, I think he would go through like a week of like shit, and then some people like the Drake fans would bring it up, but most people would probably the casuals like that's what I try to remind people too. Like the casual fan doesn't think like the way that a lot of these fans are thinking and acting, right? It's a whole different bag. Whole different bag, bro.
Yeah, but that's where everything's getting like too crazy. It's like, check it out. Okay. Did everybody see or like the idea of Drake texting Millie Bobby, whatever, be like, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I never really thought, damn, that's kind of weird. Drake is like I always thought, I'm like, damn, this like cookie cutter Drake being Drake, like trying to be friends with every new poppin' person, but none of that kind of came across as I'm trying to fuck you. You get what I'm saying? And what people can't distinguish is they take any little thing and you're now a full blown, you have an island fucking these chicks and they're 13. Like that's how they're taking it, right? Like you could look at that situation and be like, yeah, I probably wouldn't be texting with Shorty. You know what I mean? And be like, yo, Drake,
Exactly.
why are you? Like even if you say, cool, then you say like, yo, Drake, why are you doing that dumb shit? Cool. But they just take it and be like, I told you he was fucking kids. And a lot of them. Like, you know what I mean?
A lot of them. He's not only that, he's trafficking them.
Yo, and that
not only that, yeah, it's like
that
crazy.
leap right there is like where hip hop turns dangerous. You got these fans literally turning rappers who, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think Drake and Kendrick are both two rappers. They probably have their faults here or there, but they're normal people. I don't think they're like societal rejects or some delinquents that are fucking kids or serial woman beater. I don't. Now, has Kendrick may have had a bad moment with his girl? Maybe. Okay. Did Drake probably make a mistake or whatever on stage? Yeah, but are these people like on the hunt to beat women and fuck kids? Like, come on. Like, this is what I don't like how the hip hop fans have turned it into. They have turned it into, well, he's Ike Turner, okay? And this nigga is literally Jeffrey Epstein.
Pretty much, bro. That's what it's gotten to. It's crazy to think that the battle. Did you think for 1 second when the battle happened a year and a half ago, did you think that we would be right where we're at right now, this far out, and it's still being like the most talked about thing? Did you think that would be true?
Is that what? Oh, man.
Did you, looking back, did you think when the battle first happened, did you think we'd be really talking about it to this extent? All these, like a full year and a half later, we're still here. We're still here.
Man, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how hip-hop returns to some sort of regularity after this. I'm going to be honest with you. I've never seen Kendrick fans this active. And it's like they have a mission, and I've never seen Drake fans this active. They have a mission. And I don't know how this changes, man. But I am kind of sick of it. I'm kind of sick of it, even though it is new content, which I guess that's the hypocritical part where I'm like, all right, well, just give me a new headline to talk about on stream. But, yo, we are talking about the same shit.
This is the biggest headline, though. This is the biggest topic. People still want to talk about Kendrick and Drake. So as media, you're going to cover it, right? Like, for me, I haven't really done, like, I don't put out nearly as many videos, right? But I have to cover the Drake stuff right now. There's too much going on, right?
And I'm going to be honest with you. Listen, if anybody have seen the majority of civil lawsuits, it is never as explosive as this. Every fucking day there's something. Every day there's something.
Every day.
Yo, the amount of money being dumped into this, like Drake said, like he spent $100,000 on trying to get Kojo. They're spending so much money kind of going at each other. I can't even tell if it's PR or like this is some real, I guess it's both, but it's like.
How annoying do you think this is for UMG right now? Because like Drake seems to be causing a bit of chaos with this. Like he's really, I mean, he's not, it has to be a little bit, this got to be very inconvenient for him.
For UMG?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I would say.
no, I think that's exactly happening. But that's why I also say, like, how do they not say we're gonna take it out on this guy? Like Drake is
Yeah.
definitely fucking some shit up there. You know what I
Do
mean?
you
Drake.
think? Do you think that this lawsuit has already had or could have already had ramifications on battles in the future and how executives look at battles
You know,
when it comes
any
to
big battle, yeah. Like I'm
you
pretty
think
sure we won't see a big battle like this for a while. And even when we do see one, they're gonna take the approach of we're not touching with a 10-foot pole. Meaning before they monetize and put it on DSPs, they have a team that comes in and reviews all the facts or the allegations. Yo, so you said his mama is a what? You said his brother is a what? And they're gonna then be like, hey, listen, we could put out a version of this song, but we're bleeping certain lines, we're erasing certain lines, and that's how we'll publish it. Otherwise, that shit could just be up on YouTube. And that's gonna be an interesting way to deal with it, because record labels like to monetize everything, but they might learn from this and say, because Kendrick would have put the songs out regardless. Drake would have put the songs out regardless, right? We don't have Story of Added On, and we don't have Duppy Freestyle on DSPs, right? There was a cognizant effort made, I think, with the artists as well, to say, we're not going to monetize this, right? These songs just got so big, and the moment was so big, they knew these songs were going to be the biggest thing in the world. But if the label had not monetized this, UMG has zero fault, right? If they don't take the song and ingest it in their system, they have zero fault. You would have to sue Kendrick and I guess YouTube, because Kendrick just released it on YouTube at first, right? It took a good like 12 hours or like maybe 24 hours for it to really get up on DSPs. So again, if they don't do that, Drake can't sue UMG. So that's a
good point.
I can see them in the future just being a little bit more careful with bigger songs. Now, granted, that's what I'm keep saying. Like, will a drill rapper, like, God rest his dead in terms of Julio Fulio, but like, say a guy does what Julio Fulio does and makes a song like When I See You, or like a Young and Ace type song like Who I Smoke. Yeah, those songs will still get through, because Lucian don't know what the fuck those songs are. He probably never heard those songs a day in his life. But big A-list artists, I could see them saying, hold on now. We're not going to let this go too crazy. Or we're just going to leave it over there.
Basically, yeah, it's not like they could stop people from doing diss tracks, but it's never going to be at this big high-level thing anymore, probably, where there's like these scathing things being thrown back and forth, and they're just going to let that fly.
Yeah, yeah.
And if the guys want, they can just throw it up on YouTube. That makes sense.
One thing I wanted Drake to kind of explain that lawsuit, because
he needs to.
Because I want to hear his objective, because we're fans and we all are making up our own objectives. Some people are saying, no, this is the one to take down the music industry. You said, hey, well, this is how he clears his name. There's other people that say he's going to show you that there was manipulation that happened. He's going to show you X, Y. Like, why did he file it, right? Because if he's trying to clear his name, I think that's one way you can clear your name, right? You defame me by calling me this. You're going to either show up with proof, right? Or you're going to admit that you did defame me, and once I show the damages, you owe me some money. And then the other thing is, okay, these labels have been pulling bullshit with artists for the longest. I want to shut that down or expose it, and also get paid because they fucked me over. I really don't know which one it is. Or maybe it's a collection of all of them, but I'm trying to see the mindset behind of it.
Yeah, we have no idea at this point. We can only speculate. And there's like the reasons you gave, that's more the Drake friendly ones. Like, people say that he's suing because he lost the battle. That's basically what a lot of people say, right? and that he didn't know how to handle the L. We hear that a lot.
Yeah, which I think that's unfair that people are saying that about Drake, man. Like even now we're like I looked at one of his last caption, and like you could tell his caption still is kind of embodying the energy of responding to maybe what the battle did. And people are like, damn, he can't get over it. I'm like, you know what's so funny? Compared to a battle that he unanimously won, which is versus Meek, the dude went on to drop a whole album where he's like, yo, free smoke. Like he still was in that energy, even in the win. So it's not like he was like, all right, I won the battle, I'm completely over it. He was on that type of time, like, all right, who else wants some? Like, what's popping? Like, what we doing? And that's always been a fuel and a motivator for him to kind of do what he does. And I think people have to realize, like, I don't think he's necessarily harping on the battle, but he's definitely bottling that energy, whether it's revenge. Okay, I got to spin back. All right, the dudes who turned on me, stay there. Fuck it.
I think he wants his lick back. I think he wants his get back. I think he wants revenge. But yo, Ak, I gotta hop off.
All right, brother.
It's getting pretty late here, bro.
All right.
But keep in touch, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Any new information?
Thanks for having me on.
Keep fighting a good fight versus the K-Boss, man.
You too, bro.
I just ignore him. I don't know what the fuck they say at this point. Fuck. All right. It's the K-Boss chat. All right. Here we go. All right, enough Drake talk. I'm Draked out.